because we're here to be human. We're not here to bypass and live in like love and light, and it's not love and light all the time. And I think that's where it gets dangerous, is we think we just want to stay high vibe, we want to stay in the love and light. That's not reality. That's not reality. And there's so much spiritual bypassing. Welcome to the Multiple Truths podcast. We're your hosts, Holly
and Brittany. This is a space where we can come together healing in community, where we share our self-love journeys, insights, and wisdom.
A space with no hierarchy or judgment, fostering love, compassion, and respect, and where we honor our differences. With open minds and hearts, everyone's truth is welcome here. We are in this together. Let's dive into the episode. Hello and welcome back. You're here with Holly and Brittany today. Woo! We're so excited for this episode. We are actually just waking up. We're having our coffee.
We got our morning coffee. Wait, look at how cute our mugs are, you guys.
Oh, mine have little butterflies on them.
Mine has a little bee with little honeycomb design at the bottom.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
Maybe you guys are listening in the morning. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever it feels good for you. But yeah, it's such a beautiful morning here in Vancouver. We have like the view of the ocean, and it's just so relaxing and comfy and cozy, and just, yeah, it feels like vacation vibes. Like I said, the last time we opened up together. Yeah, it's so nice here.
It is. We saw I thought it was a little fisherman, because I often see like fishermen here in the morning just going to catch their little fishies. But he wasn't a fisherman. He was going to do laps in the ocean or just swim around. So
such a good way to start the morning.
Literally, maybe we should do that one of these days before you leave. A little morning dip.
It's so crazy because I expected the water here to be just as cold because it's the Pacific, you know.
Or colder, because it's colder here, like year round.
Yeah, I'm in Santa Cruz and the water is freezing. Like when you put your feet in the water, it feels like they go numb and like they sting, and you have to sit in there for like a minute for it to feel like good again. Yeah. And I was expecting it to be the same here because we're on the same coast. It's still the Pacific Ocean. It's only like a 2.5 hour flight. I put my feet in the ocean and it feels like bath water. I'm like, wait, what?
It is. Not all of the water here is like that though, but
it's super shallow.
It's super shallow.
But same with Santa Cruz. It's shallow when you first go in, but it's still ice cold.
I honestly don't. I was shocked too when I moved here. Like I was shocked. I remember going the first time to put my feet in, and I'm thinking like I'm like mentally preparing myself for like that, you know, that the shock. And I was like, wait a minute. It's literally like bath water. Yeah.
I want to get in. I mean, we need to get in.
We do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't have my suit, but I can borrow.
You can borrow one of mine. Yeah.
It's so refreshing. The ocean is so refreshing to get into. I never regret getting in. It's always, especially like in California where the Pacific, like it's freezing, but you never regret getting in the water. Once you're in, it's so amazing.
It's so nice. I haven't actually taken a full dip in here yet, so I'm sure like as you go out a little bit more, like it's going to get colder as you go out, but maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. And it's such a good, we were talking about, because Brittany was saying how she's been struggling sleeping a little bit, and the ocean has like natural magnesium. So it's actually so good for your body to get in the ocean. It can help you have a better night's sleep. And starting your morning like that, I mean, it's so nice because you're getting the natural morning sun, getting out there, getting moving. So refreshing.
Maybe I should just
jealous of that man out there right now.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still out there.
Start, especially now that the weather's getting nicer, because in the winter you're not going to find me going for dips in the morning.
Yeah.
But this is the time of year. Like maybe I should start doing that.
Yeah.
I should start doing that.
You should. It's going to be
or before
hot
I go to bed.
too.
Before I go to bed with the magnesium. Somebody on my YouTube channel was like, buy magnesium flakes and take a bath before bed.
It's like you got a huge
and
one.
I have
there.
one.
You
right
got
here.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Go soak. Go like that would be such a good way to end the day.
Oh, and start the day.
Yeah. So nice.
I love the ocean too.
Yeah.
It just makes me flashbacks
And
of San
you guys
Diego.
already know we also love morning and night times routines, because we talked about that in an episode about being intentional with the routine. So if you live by the ocean, if not a lake, or just simply like showering, just water, like waking yourself up naturally, getting outside.
Or like if you're
so
getting your feet on the earth, maybe you have like a grassy patch you can like put your feet onto, you know?
Yeah. We don't know, like putting your feet on the earth is so grounding. I feel like so many of us, you know, we live in such a chaotic world, like we already all know, and grounding your energy, putting your feet on the actual earth is so healing and grounding. And what I like to do too is like because Mother Gaia, she supports us. She wants to support us. I always, when I put my feet on the earth, I ask her to like take away anything that doesn't belong to me. I send it back to you because I know she can transmute it into whatever it needs to be, and then like refill me up with like positive, loving energy. It's like such a good way to like release energy that isn't yours, send it back to the earth, and then replenish your body. Like I really believe that there's truth to that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's just so grounding.
I love that. And side note, if you guys hear me sniffling a little bit, like my throat is so itchy right now. My nose is sniffling. My eyes are watering. My allergies.
Hot literally mess right here.
Yeah, literally my allergies. Like,
you don't look like, you can't even.
Okay, I feel it though. They like hit me like a freight train this morning, and I'm like scratching my throat. And anyway, so just a little side note for you guys.
Yeah. Is that normal for
me? It is
for
like
summer
for me. Yes, like normally
getting warmer.
Yeah, it's been like up and down. Like some days it hits me harder than other days. Today is one of those days where I'm like starting to feel it. So I'm like, good.
Yeah, is it the pollen?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people struggle with allergies
this time of year. Yeah,
I've never had them. They knock on any wood.
Knock on wood. Yeah, you don't want them.
I don't want.
You don't want them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, we're excited to dive into today's topic. We were kind of like deciding this morning, you know, we want to make things light and bring in more joy and fun and play, but we also cannot bypass what's going on in the world right now. Like that's a thing where, you know, we talked about the state of our world, and we were very honest about, we both feel a bit ignited to talk about things that are going on, because we need to bring awareness, we need to bring light, we need to balance things out. And we have a platform, and we feel a sense of responsibility to talk about things that need light, that need balance. And we're still going to bring in the light with these conversations, but we do feel called to really talk about minorities today, and like the LGBTQ plus community, and just all the minorities,
groups that are suppressed.
Yeah, groups,
essentially, especially here in North America. And something I just want to go on, you know, you talking about how we feel a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility to talk about this within, you know, specifically the spiritual community. There's often a lot of bypassing, you know, there's often a lot of, it's just love and light, you know, just project that good energy. And, you know, that's how you're going to raise the vibration of earth. And
while you say that too, I just want to say too, in that vein too, people are, I feel like, say, just focus on yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself, like, because when you take care of yourself, then that'll extend out into the world. Yes, there's truth to that, but you're also, it's like not taking other people into consideration. You can't just focus on you and not anyone else.
No, exactly. You know? And yeah, you're right. It is important to focus on you. However, you know, going with that, it's like when you work on you, if you really want to evolve and grow and shift and change, you have to look at your shadow. You have to look at your shadow. There's no bypassing that. As a collective here on Earth, we are all one, right? We're all one. We are a collective. Earth is doing its shadow work right now. All of this crazy shit that's happening is Earth's shadow. We can't bypass it. If we want Earth to become heaven on earth, if we want Earth to shift and change, we have to look at the shadow. We cannot bypass it. It is our duty. It is our responsibility to look at the shadow.
There's so much dense shame and guilt and hate and judgment. It's like heavy energy.
Yes, but also people are dying. People are dying. Those people lost their voices. We cannot sit and bypass that. Oh, I'm getting fired up here.
Yes, and it's being the voice for the voiceless. And we have this platform, and I know we're so deeply devoted to staying in integrity and using it in a way that's balanced and supportive. And this just feels like a really important conversation to be an ally for the LGBTQ plus community, for these minorities, and really raise awareness and bring light to such a heavy, dark space, and where there's a lot of judgment and discrimination and just really gross energy, just really gross projections onto these people. And I just feel like, just being in the spiritual space, you know, I say, we've already talked about this before, I feel very grounded, and I feel like a part of why I love my spirituality is because it helps me see the beauty and the magic and the miracles and all of that. And it helps me see like, oh, we're here to have this human experience. How can we bring that spirituality into this human experience to make it a loving place for everyone, to see the magic and the synchronicities, to make it easier for your human experience? Because we're here to be human. We're not here to bypass and live in like love and light and it's not love and light all the time. And I think that's where it gets dangerous, is we just want to stay high vibe. We want to stay in the love and light. That's not reality. That's not reality. And there's so much spiritual bypassing. There's also so much religious bypassing that's going on too, where we just focus on our faith and we're not actually looking at our own shadow or the shadow that's going on. We just pray, which prayer is amazing. And yes, do that. But you also have to acknowledge like your own shadow, your own pain and the pain of the world, and be that ally and be that advocate.
Yeah. And one thing I think is just important to touch on, I mean, we are women. We know that women all over the world are suppressed. With that said, I feel it is important to acknowledge our privilege as well.
Absolutely. And being a white woman.
Yeah, being a white woman. And I think it is so important as, I want to say white women, just it's the importance of being an ally, acknowledging our privilege, but the importance of being an ally.
Yeah. And something I want to say too is I want to learn and I want to listen. As a white woman, I want to listen and hear and see from a Black woman, from a trans person, from a gay person, from like we need to listen from this state of privilege and listen to understand and have empathy and compassion and be an ally and understand their experience so we can really see the full picture. Because there's so much of like, we project judgment on what we don't understand. If it's not our lived experience, we could, it's hard to like empathize or see where someone else is coming from. But from this state of privilege, it's like, I want to listen to understand. I want to have a group of people on the podcast to listen to understand of other people's experiences and perspective, to get to understand where someone else is coming from. For me, like, I'm not trans. I have no idea what it's like to be a trans woman or a trans man, but I want to listen to understand, because there's so much judgment around that, and it's hard to understand and comprehend until you talk to someone and hear their experience and see them and understand them, and then be like, oh, we're very much the same. All of us are very much the same, trying to, we all experience very similar things in our own unique ways, but we're going to express ourselves in different ways. And the more we see that we're more alike and can really see and understand where other people are coming from, the better this world is going to be. We need to create a safer world for everyone. And I think it starts with those conversations of being an ally and being open to also admitting, I don't understand this. And if I get it wrong, I'm sorry. I'm open to listening and understanding and trying to get it right.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Because I feel like, we're all souls having a human experience, doing the best we can. And the world that we live in currently, there's so many rules, your life needs to look like this is right, this is wrong. And I feel like there's so much distortion just within the world at large, and a lot of people judge what they don't understand, right? It's really easy to look at your life and your preferences, whatever they may be, or your skin color or whatever your experience is, and then to look at something that's a little different. And it's easy as humans, it's almost natural to fear, what we don't understand. But in the world we live in, fear often turns into projections. We project onto the other people, judgment, as opposed to getting curious, right? And having the ability to have these conversations, honest and open conversations, without the ego coming through and projecting that pain, that fear, that judgment onto the other person. Like, we're all here having different experiences. Just because your life might look a certain way and that's what you came here to experience, it doesn't mean everyone is supposed to have that same experience, like, we're all here for different unique, beautiful reasons. And that's what makes the world so beautiful, is the diversity. We're all so unique, and we all have something so special to bring to the table. And I feel like so many people in this world fear truly being authentic because of the judgment. And that's what makes the world so beautiful. So if we can learn to appreciate everyone's differences, I think, holy shit, man. And I'm just thinking of the different cultures, appreciating the different cultures and the uniqueness within each culture. And man, that's a world I want to live in, you know?
Like, diversity is so beautiful. We're here to be diverse. We're not all here to be the same. And I think there's such a collective wound of needing your life to look a certain way, needing to portray this perfect image because of the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of, not being liked, whatever, the fear of being judged. And it's like putting on these masks. And I know that there are way more people in the gay community that are suppressing themselves and their sexuality because of the fear of what other people are going to think. And you guys, it is time to shatter the illusion of perfection. There is no such thing as perfection. We are human. We are here to be messy. We're here to experience and like fully embody our authentic selves. And that comes with a messy journey, shattering this illusion of, married, perfect family, have the kids, have the job, have the money. It's like, no, that's not, no one is perfect. And I think it's like shattering the illusion, like even me sharing about my abortion, shatter that illusion of perfectionism. For me, I'm human, I'm messy, I'm here to learn, make mistakes, own my journey. We're here to own our journeys. And even like, I was talking to my mom about this, like my mom and my dad got a divorce, and that I'm so grateful that they did shatter that illusion of needing to stay in a marriage if it's not healthy, if it's not serving you. And I think it's so beautiful when we can embrace like we're not here to be perfect. We're here to embrace who we are, especially if you're gay, if you're trans, whatever it may be. It's like shatter that illusion of we all need to look the same and be attracted to opposite sex. And like sex is so complex.
It's so complex.
Like we're here to and I believe that us here, you being a medium and embracing that, shatter the illusion of the normal job that you need to have. We're shattering the illusions of perfectionism and what it's supposed to be and embracing who we are, because that makes it a safer world for everyone to be exactly who they are.
Yeah. And something I just want to touch on really quickly. I know I received this message personally just for people. So if you're listening, I feel like this might apply to you, which is why I feel called to bring it forward. People who are really on this healing journey, which is so beautiful. People who are really on this healing journey and who are really on the path of shattering these illusions and really stepping into who you truly are. There is a good possibility, and I'm not saying this is going to happen 100% for sure, but there is I received, this message that people who are really doing the healing journey, if you're meant to have kids, because not everybody is, but if you are meant to have kids, one of your children might be LGBTQ plus. There's the message I received around it is we are here to shake things the fuck up. And if you have shattered those illusions and really are loving people for who they are regardless of how they identify or whatever, I feel like there is going to be an influx of souls that are different, that are LGBT, whatever they may be, and it's to help shatter these illusions. And I'm not saying everybody's going to be. It's like let your kid just be who if they are, and they'll grow up to be whoever they are. But it's they're coming through in safe homes where they can be who they are. And I think that's beautiful. So I just kind of feel called to share that.
Yeah, because I think too, why you go the healing journey is learning how to love yourself, learning how to accept yourself. So of course, I think that there are already so many people that are a part of the LGBTQ plus community that aren't out because of the suppression, because of the judgment. And you do the healing to accept your kids exactly as they are. There's no right or wrong way. So of course, I feel that too. I feel like the children that come in, regardless, sex is so fluid. It's so, and I think we box things in. It's allowing your child to express themselves however they want to express themselves, not suppressing them, not making them feel bad. So I just think it's like the more we awaken as a collective of like, oh, diversity is beautiful, sexuality is fluid, like it's so complex, and like just allowing your children to be exactly who they are, gay, straight, whatever the hell they want to be. It's like accepting them for exactly who they are and not making them fit into a mold. I think we live in such a fear-based world, and like, with religious beliefs of like, if you're gay, you need to be straight and that's the way to go. And that's so deeply ingrained. That's such a deeply ingrained belief, but it's like we're shifting that as a collective. So of course, like we're going to have children,
maybe,
whoever they are, and they get to be exactly who they are.
Yeah. And I also just want to acknowledge, like, because we live in a scary world, because we live, unfortunately, in a world where, minorities or people who are LGBTQ plus, for example, they do have a harder time. So I want to acknowledge, parents might be afraid that their kids are LGBTQ plus, not because they don't love them, but because they don't want their kids to go through a harder time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, if your child is LGBTQ plus, or if you have a future child that is, know that that is a strong, powerful fucking soul right there.
They're here to shake shit up.
Yeah, they can handle it. They chose it to handle it. So don't let your fear kind of be projected. I mean, you're human, right? And of course, it's your job as a parent to worry and want the best for them. But just remember, they chose that because they can handle that. And they chose you because they know that you will provide a safe home and accepting home for them to be who they want to be. So I just kind of feel called to say that too. It's acknowledging, like, yeah, it is scary. We live in a scary world. And unfortunately, the reality of it, minorities, people who are suppressed, LGBTQ, they do have a harder time because of the judgment and the fear. And, it's normal as a parent to want your child to have the best, easiest, life ever. But we're here to fucking shake things up. These kids coming down who are already here, who are already being born, the future ones who are coming, are also here to shake things up, and we're doing it together.
Yeah, and I think that's the importance of also being an ally, why it's so important. Fight for these children as if they are your own, because we want to make it a safe world for everyone, and the more that we can get on the same page with that, the more the children will be free to be exactly who they are. It's like fighting for these children as if they were your own. And something that's coming to mind too is there's so many children too that, we now have more tests around autism, and there's a lot of children that have autism, another minority. And I think a lot of parents, again, want their children to have normal experiences, don't want them to face any challenges or difficulties. And it's like, autism is so beautiful. These children are such gifts to this world.
Angels. They're angels.
They're earth angels, and they're here to be honest. They're
teaching us.
The way that they communicate is so beautiful. The way they learn is so beautiful. And I think, again, it's like being an ally for those kind of communities too, and like seeing the beauty, because you want your child to have an experience, like not be bullied or anything like that. And it, like, how can we start having these open conversations to be like, it's beautiful. Diversity is beautiful. We're not all meant to think the same. We're not all meant to speak the same. We're not all meant to love the same. We're here to be different and embrace the difference and shatter the illusion of perfection, of normal. There's no such thing as normal. What's normal? We think
normal? Like, what is normal? That's man-made.
Right.
It's man-made.
I think it's like embracing it all and seeing the beauty of it all, and embracing diversity. Like, we're here to be different, and it's that shattering. I just keep getting like shattering of the illusion of perfectionism, because there's no such thing. And the more we try to attain it, the more we suppress ourselves.
Absolutely.
So it's like we've gotta just embrace as we are, and listen, understand, and see the beauty in each individual person and their experience. And we are all very much very similar.
Yes, we are. We really, really are when it comes down to it. Something I feel called to touch on as well, if you look at any sort of, because I feel like, unfortunately, because of the fear, because of the judgment, minorities, for example, the Black community, for example, the LGBTQ plus, specifically transgender, I feel like, I'll just give an example. I saw, and I was talking to Holly about this morning, I saw, it was, I forget, like an ad or a post, and it was about a transgender woman. So, a man who transitioned to a woman who was arrested because they committed some sort of crime. And that's really shitty. That's really shitty. And I was telling Holly, like, do you know what? In every single group, like, I was a teacher. I was a high school teacher for 5 years. There's pedophiles, there's predators within teaching, there's predators within coaching, within the nurse community. Like, every group of people is going to have I don't want to say bad seeds, but wounded seeds that perpetuate harm. And it's so unfair for the Black community. It's so unfair for the transgender community, for those bad seeds. And I don't even like to say that. I mean, the harmful seeds to taint the whole group. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. And to go off of that real quick, like, of course they're going to highlight that where with this community is already under so much discrimination and fear. What is that fear? Oh, we're right. Look at this story. We're right. All of trans are like this. Like they are the ones that are causing havoc. It's like, of course they're going to highlight those. And it's unfortunate that that's going to taint a lot of people's view on the transgender community. But what about the beautiful stories? Where's the beautiful stories? It's the same with the Black community. When we're looking at crimes that happen, they normally, you know, when there's any sort of shooting, whatever it may be, it's like you watch the news. It's a Black male that is perpetuating this harm. What does that do? Instilling more racism. Oh, see, like, where's the beautiful stories? Where, like, we only see the fear mongering stories to perpetuate, to keep us separated, to
it feeds the one narrative. It feeds the one narrative. And, you know, like I said, in every group of people, there's
always going to be that.
There's always going to be those harmful seeds that perpetuate
the
harm.
Light and dark, you know?
And it's unfortunate, right? And it's unfortunate. It's sad. It's the world we live in, you know, and I'm not making excuses for those people, because that, you know, often those things are not okay, but it's in every group of people,
right? And we love to like pit. We love to. It keeps us separated. We love to look at the negative. The only story, a lot of the stories that are highlighted, it's focusing on the negative to really help us stay separated. I really do believe that. But I also want to talk about too with the trans community too. I think the misconception is that like it's really easy to transition. And I just really want to highlight like it is not easy to transition. There might be a small percentage of people where they won't have to go through loopholes, but like it's not easy to transition, and no one, I don't believe, you know, some people are wounded and do feel, you know, I haven't spoken to a trans person that has been wounded and transitioned and regretted it. I've seen stories on that, but I think that's a very small percentage. I just want us to know it's really difficult to transition, and you first have to socially transition first, and then get to the point of the surgery that you go through. And I do believe that, you know, be later on in the journey, because that's a life altering thing. You know, they need to make sure their, you know, brains are fully formed and all of that. But there's so many loopholes that this community has to go through. And it's not easy to just transition like that.
I honestly, like, I don't know the ins and outs, so I don't know how easy it is. I, you know, have heard the narrative that it's too easy within America. You know, I haven't spoken personally to a trans person myself either, but I have watched, there was a trans woman, you know, from a man to a woman, who I watched on YouTube a lot, and she was quite, she had a lot of different stories, and she did bring in a lot of people who did transition, who did, you know, regret it. And I think, and I'm not saying that people are going to regret it, I think people need to be who they are. I do think it is important to hear all stories, you know, it's important to hear all sides, to hear all stories. And because those people in particular who regretted it, unfortunately, their experience is being shunned by the rest of the community, which I think is just an important piece to talk on as well, because that's not fair either. You know, that's their experience. It doesn't mean, but then there's other people who transitioned, and that's the best thing that they could have done for themselves. You know, it's complex. It's not black and white. And I think the trans community in general just have such a hard time in general. I think they need allies. They need support.
And we need to listen to them. Everyone's making these assumptions. We need to listen to them, which she had them on for sure. Like that woman that you're talking about, she had a lot of trans people on, which is beautiful. And I think like we need to be listening to them, and we need to be allies, and we just need to listen to understand. And like, even if that's not how you're choosing to live your life, that's okay. But how can you like release your judgment, release your walls, and listen to understand, because they have so much. There's some that I follow on TikTok that just come on my page, and I'm like, oh my God, they have so much wisdom to share. What beautiful embodiments of just being exactly who they are. Like what beautiful teachers to embrace who you are, and what hell of a hell of a lot of loopholes that they have to go through and so much discrimination to face, but they still choose to show up as themselves. Like they're here, I really feel, to shake shit up, to really help us widen our capacity to understand and to accept people as they are and to allow people to be exactly who they are. It's so fucking complex. And I will say that there's so many factors, you know, it's super complex, but I'm here to listen and understand and be an ally for them. And you do what you need to do for you. And I am here for you, and I will fight for you. I will fight for the trans community as if they are my own children. And I really feel that. I will be there. I'm here to understand. And I think there's beauty in their experience. And I think there's so much discrimination. And the suicide rates, like we had talked about this morning, are so high for trans. They're so high for gay, because look at what we perpetuate in society. That something is innately wrong with you, you are innately wrong for being who you are. Like I cannot imagine living my life like that, going outside every day and knowing that someone's looking at me, judging me, like something that they feel like they are innately wrong. And this is something that religious beliefs perpetuate as well. And the amount of harm that it is causing these children and these adults and the suppression.
Yeah. I mean, what's coming to mind is think about, you know, somebody who is, you know, me, for example, I'll just use myself as an example, a straight white woman, you know what I'm saying? When I was going through a time where, you know, I was having a lot more issues with my skin, going out into public sometimes was, oh my God, are people going to look at me funny? That's a skin issue.
Right.
That's a skin issue.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, similar, using myself an example, me coming out about having an abortion.
Right.
I am facing the smallest amount. I can't even imagine if I was gay or trans. I'm facing a small amount of the projected judgment and hate and shame that they experience every single day. You experiencing that on the smallest scale is like a blip on what they experience every single day. And I think when you can put yourself in someone else's shoes and see how damaging that is, like how you experience, amplify that by like just your being. Your being is judged and shamed.
And something I want to touch on too, because this is not black and white. It's so polarizing. There's so many layers to this. So something that I feel called to touch, this is why these conversations are so important, so that we can move through things like this. For example, I'm going to give this example. Women, for example, there's a lot of, and I don't know exactly how I feel about all of this stuff. I'm still, you know, figuring this out. This is why these conversations are important. But, you know, a lot of women feel like there's further suppression of women happening, for example, with, let's say, you know, and this is going to be very polarizing, but, you know, trans women coming into their sports, for example, or trans women claiming to have periods. And I don't know the ins and outs of all of it, but there's women who feel like they are being suppressed even more because it's, you know, for example, men who transition to women are naturally stronger. And I don't know the ins and outs with the science and the testosterone and all of that stuff. So I want to say that this is why I'm still kind of figuring out how I feel on all of this. I'm still, you know, and this is why I want to have these conversations, but people get so defensive, like on both sides. Like,
it's like we can't just we can't have a conversation about it because everyone's egos get in the way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I feel it's important to acknowledge, because, you know, as a woman I was very into sports, you know what I'm saying? Very into sports growing up. And, you know, it's just like our souls are androgynous. Our physical bodies, though, there is a physical difference between us when it comes to just our physical body, whether you know, resonate with the body that you're in or not. At science, like there is a difference. So as somebody who was very competitive and loved sports, if I were to, you know, compete and there was, you know, a trans woman competing, and let's say I worked so hard and they beat me, being completely honest, I would feel defeated, because you know, as a woman, I would feel like it is perpetuating that, you know, I would feel upset. So I want to acknowledge that, because that is a real, Do you know what I'm saying? Like that it's not black and white. With that said, at the same time, acknowledging that trans woman who doesn't feel like they are a man, that is also so real. And it is so real that they don't feel comfortable participating in men's
like
sports
they just want
either.
to play, yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's like, I just have full chills feeling into this. I genuinely see both sides to this argument, and I can empathize with both sides of the argument. And I feel this is why we need to have these conversations, because there are true points on both sides, and we are all just doing the best that we can. And in order to move through this as a collective, we have to be willing to have these very uncomfortable conversations, but it's important to have it, as you were saying before, in an open way where we have the ability to put our ego aside and to really listen, because it is complex. It's not black and white, and we're learning, but it's the only way we're going to evolve as a society. And you know, bringing that up, I was a little nervous to bring that up, because I don't want to, again, I'm still learning, I'm still figuring it out, but there are important pieces on both sides.
Yeah, it's like validating both sides, seeing all experiences, because like her, she's coming, she doesn't feel comfortable now doing it with the men, so she's coming in, she just wants to be normal, she just wants to live her life, she just wants to be accepted sports. And it's like seeing from her, and then you can also see it from the other player's perspective. You know, this happened, was it in the Olympics?
It's happening throughout, and you know, women are making the argument it's another form of the patriarchy, you know, men coming in and kind of taking over women's sports. But
that's like so overarching. It's like, look at the woman, hear her story. What is her story? Because it's we love to make assumptions. Like, what was her journey? What was her journey like? She just wants, you know, it's like, and I get it, but it's such a, and it's also like such a small community too, where they're shaking up so much. They're like demonizing this group of people to like, it's not black and white. And that's the thing. I just think that it's why it is so polarizing, though. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's why it's so polarizing, and it's so important to have these conversations without getting triggered, without projecting your fears, your insecurities. Because, you know, with this example, you know, as someone personally who was very, I did competitive sports and everything, like I understand the side of the woman when it comes to, you know, our bodies are different, you know, even, you know, and I don't know the ins and outs of science, and I know like the other side of it is like, well, they're on, you know, medication and stuff, which, takes away from the amount of testosterone they're producing, you know. With that said, it's like they were of their born body for an X amount of time, therefore they do have naturally more, you know, muscle and stuff running through them because of the time that they spent before they went on the medication. And I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I really want to like make that clear. My point with all of this, and I'm not saying the trans community is wrong for this, because, you know, going back to what I was saying, like I'm still figuring out how I feel about it, because I genuinely empathize and understand like both sides when it comes to things like that. So and it's uncomfortable, like for me to even say that. I was like, do I say this? Because I don't want to paint them in a bad picture, because that's not my intention at all. Like I really see both sides, but it is important to bring those pieces into the conversation as well. I think so too. I just think, and I totally see that. Absolutely. I just think right now it's like such a small group that already faces so much. Absolutely. And we're placing way too much attention on them, and not like the bigger issues that I feel like are going on. But I totally understand that too. And I just feel like I'm just so proud of people that do have the courage to transition. And that probably took so much courage for her to even go, you know, she probably knew it was gonna, you know, I just feel like
it's different for each individual one as well.
And I think that's what we need to look at. It's like an individual, but their community coming together and like seeing one another and seeing the challenges that they have to face. There's so many challenges that these people have to face, and I get it. They just want to live their life, but I totally, it's a conversation to have. I just think
it's in these conversations. And, you know, with that, I kind of want to, just talking about like minorities, thinking about like what's going on in the States right now with the immigrants.
Can we really touch? I just want to finish with the gay and the trans community first before we hop into that. I just want to say too, because I just feel like if you are gay and you have come out, because I know that's another, and if you're trans, if you've come out, like, just know that you are inspiring so many other people to do the same. I know it takes so much courage to come out, especially if you have a family that's very conservative or religious. And if you're facing a lot of backlash and, you know, people are banning you from your own home or in your communities, whatever it is, just know that like you are so loved. You are exactly who you came here to be. And you are going to inspire so many other people to come out and be exactly who they are, because there are so many people that are closeted, that are living their lives in shame and pain and perpetuating their pain onto other people. And the way that we have been treating the gay and the trans community of like that you are innately wrong is wrong. That is the opposite of what God wants. You come as you are. That is what it is. Come as you are. It's not change who you are for other people. It's come as you are, and you are exactly who you came here to be, and your existence is not wrong. It's beautiful, it's diverse, it's amazing. You are such a gift, and I'm just so grateful for the people that have had the courage to come out, even with all of this diversity, all of the judgment, all of the hate. Like, I'm so grateful, because it's you people that are paving the path for these next generations coming in to feel safe enough to be who they are. So I'm just so grateful. I can't even imagine the amount of judgment that you face on a daily basis. And I just want to continue to reiterate, like, I am your ally, and I'm so, so grateful that you've had, and I can't even imagine just the amount of hate and judgment that they've had to face. Yeah. And like, if you have a family member that has come out as gay and you feel uncomfortable about it, it's like they haven't changed. They are exactly who they were, that you know, but they love an opposite sex, or they just want to be who they are. They're still innately the same person, and it's not a bad thing, you know. And I think since it's so suppressed, being gay is so suppressed, like I think there is a lot there's like exploration that happens. And I think a bad rap that comes is, oh, they're just going around and having sex with anybody, you know, like because they're out and they're going out and just like messing around with anybody. But it's like, so are straight people. And it's like we need to just stop with the judgment around that.
I think there's like a lot more people that are like fluid than
because sex is so complex.
It's so complex, and
we love to love black and white. We love to know, like our minds
it's like
love
rules,
to conceptualize.
Structure. It has to fit within these lines, right? Mm-hmm. But our souls are androgynous, you know, and we come down here in a physical body, and we choose whatever that physical body is to experience whatever we're meant to experience, whether that's experiencing transitioning, whether that's experiencing being straight as an arrow, or whether that's experiencing being fluid. This episode is brought to you by The Beehive. Holly and I created this online space with such deep intention because we know how lonely and isolating the healing journey can be. And what we've truly come to know is the importance of a safe community that understands you. We've both experienced the power of being witnessed, held, and supported, and that's where true healing happens. The Beehive is a grounded, heart-led space rooted in connection, reflection, growth, authenticity, and self-love. It's a community built on grounded spirituality, not bypassing, but coming home to yourself through your body, your truth, and your lived experience. While we honor the magic of the mystical, we also know the importance of staying rooted. Inside, you'll find real tools, embodiment practices, and a community of like-minded people who get it. It's a safe space where all are welcome, where your wisdom, your struggles, and your growth are honored. If you've been craving a down-to-earth space to heal, grow, and feel supported, we'd love to welcome you into the Hive. Only $22 USD a month. Link in the show notes to join. We hope to see you there. And something I want to touch on, you know, within the spiritual community, and I use these terms as well, is, you know, divine feminine, divine masculine. And I want to make it very clear, every one of us has feminine energy and masculine energy within us. And that is really not confined by gender, you know, and for some people it's more fluid. Sometimes they'll embody more of the masculine, sometimes they'll embody more of the feminine. Other people will naturally embody one more than the other, and that's all beautiful. It's what makes us different and unique. And, you know, for example, if you're gay and it's two men coming together in union, that's beautiful. Between the two of you, you both have feminine and masculine energy within both of you. And when you balance those energies out within yourself and then come into union with the yin to to your yang, you know, it's not confined by gender. And I just, you know, for those of you who are, you know, spiritual, I felt called to just kind of touch on that as well.
Yeah. And something I want to say too is like the people that I truly believe, the people that are most like anti-gay, because I think like it's fluid. Like I feel like so many men I think are also attracted to other men, and it makes them really uncomfortable because there's so much shame around it.
They won't admit it to themselves.
Yeah. And so the most homophobic people are the ones that are suppressing their own beliefs. I truly believe that. It's like if you're just like, yeah, love who you love, who cares? Like you do you. If you have such a strong stance, I really believe that's something for you to sit with. Like, what are you maybe suppressing within yourself? Because I think, again, like the most homophobic people are the ones probably suppressing a part of them that they haven't allowed themselves to fully explore or experience because of the perpetuated shame and the fear. But I do believe, like I've had conversations with Eric around this too. Like I think that there's a lot more men that find other men attractive, but then that scares them because that, oh, am I gay, or what are these feelings? And then they suppress them, and then they become more homophobic and project it onto other people. And it's like, we are so complex. Sexuality is so complex.
Yeah.
And like, I think we need to realize it's not black and white, and like it's okay to like explore, and it's okay to find another woman attractive, another man attractive. It doesn't mean that you're gay. It's like, it's just a human experience. We're sexual beings. Like you can appreciate what someone else looks like. It doesn't mean you need to go and have sex with them. It's like, we attach so much meaning to our thoughts, and I think it's like a thought is just a thought unless you give it meaning. And we fear finding another same sex attractive, I feel. And it's like, it's because of the society that we live in, the suppression of sexuality, the taboo topic of it. So then it manifests in such a dark way, where we see so much rape and so much, all of that. It's like the people that have suppressed so much, or they're getting their power out in a different way. But it's just, yeah, I just think like we got to open our minds. And really, if you are like very homophobic, it's like, I really would just ask you to sit with yourself. Where is that coming from? Like, we're all supposed to love who you love, and let people be exactly who they are. Like, would you treat your neighbor as you would want to be treated? And I think we claim to be religious and with God, but there's so much judgment. God does not judge. God accepts us all exactly as we are. And that's, I feel like,
He wants us to be who we are.
Yes.
Do unto others as you want them do unto you. Is that the saying?
Yeah,
or
something like that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm messing it up a little bit, but
yeah, like you wouldn't want someone to judge you if you were liking the same sex, or it's like, so who cares? Let other people live their life. If you don't agree with what they're doing, you don't have to. It's not your life, but you can honor where someone else is in their journey.
As long as they're not harming anyone. At the end of the day, if they're staying in their lane, they're doing what makes them happy, they're doing what fulfills them. If it doesn't impact you in a negative way, or those you love, if they're not perpetuating harm, who gives a shit?
It's okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's okay if you don't understand. You don't have to understand, but you can have compassion, and you can have acceptance and trust that they're on their own journey.
Love knows no bounds.
Yeah.
There's no restrictions on love. As humans, we like to put rules and restrictions and regulations on everything. And it's like, that needs to just... We need to stop it with the rigidity and those lines and those rules. You need to fit in here, or you need to fit in here. And this is another thing. It's like there's so many boxes. And personally, I don't like labels, because as humans, we can't fit in any box. We can't fit in any label. We're all so individual, and I feel like we just need to just be. We need to be who we are. We need to be human. We need to let go of these boxes and the rigidity and feeling like, okay, this is where I fit. It's like, okay, but maybe that's going to change tomorrow. Maybe we're
going to shift and change all the time. We're supposed to. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of life, right? It's the exploration of self. And, as we grow and shift, we're going to change and shift. And anyways, I can go on and on, but
yeah. And the last thing I want to say too is, like, if you have a child or a family member that is gay, in the gay community in whatever way, or trans, I really feel like the best way that you can support them is by allowing them to be who they are and trying to understand their experience and trying to be there for them and accept them for exactly who they are and not shun them from your family because that's what God would want or that's what religion is telling you to do. I truly believe those teachings have caused so much harm, and that's what we're here to undo that, all of the trauma that has been placed on from religion, from spirituality, from whatever, from society. Like you get your children, you get to be exactly who they are and you are. And I think the more that you can have empathy and compassion and try to understand and see where they're coming from, even if you don't understand, they just want love. They just want acceptance. Everyone wants to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. And I really they're here to shake shit up within your family. They're here to make things different and help you see things in a different way. So I really invite you to see them, try and have a conversation, try to just allow them to be who they are and like get to know them. And I think that you'll learn a lot from them.
I was going to say they probably have a lot to teach you.
Yeah.
Us.
They've gone through a lot of diversity to get to this point. And I honor all of the people journey that have had to come out and face such diversity. And we have so much to learn from them.
Yeah.
But anyway, diving into now like
immigration. That was just, coming to mind. I just feel like, just this world, and I live in Canada, but looking at what's going on in the States,
we're stepping backwards. We're going
backwards. It's like history is repeating itself, but it's all the
darkness is coming to light because we need to see it because it's going to come in our faces to be like, oh, whoa, this is a really unsafe world. Because we have to be the change makers. We have to see it. It's in our faces.
And why is there so much hate?
Because we judge what we don't understand. And
it's like there's so much hate. It's like, we don't want you here. And, people talking about, it's like illegal immigrants, this and that. And in my opinion,
causing the crime.
Yeah. And it's like, in my opinion, we are humans of earth. And I know it's not this black and white. And I understand that. But I feel like I am a child of the earth. I should be able to go to any part of the earth that I want freely
and just accept and just explore and like we're all we can all just there's just so much judgment, there's so much hate, there's so much racism, there's just so much racism and discrimination, and it's within it's like such a deeply rooted collective experience. So it's like it's been going on for centuries, but we are now at the place of realizing like diversity is beautiful, and these immigrants that are in the States are doing a lot of the jobs that no one wants to do. Not that they should be doing them, but I met this woman who was from Mexico, and she was a janitor at this one office, a custodian. I asked her what she did, and she was a custodian for 40 years. She was working at she was working in an office space and cleaning out the office spaces. And I was just asking her about her experience, and she said, people were really rude. There was a lot of rude people in that space. She's doing a job that no one wants to do and getting paid minimum wage and trying to make a living here in the States. Yeah. And she's finally retired, but she was telling me her strategy of she had to save so much money. And even when she would get a raise, she would act like she didn't get a raise. So the extra money that she would make when she got the raise would just immediately go to her retirement fund. So she was able to finally retire. And now she's like living her life in Santa Cruz with her daughter is still living with her. They're in this small apartment, but, I met her, and I just want to give this example really fast, not to toot my own horn in any sort of way, but a way to show that like we are meant to treat each other how you would want to be treated. We're meant to treat these immigrants as our equals, as a human, and do kind acts for each other. Like I would have done this for someone else too, but Eric and I were walking, and this one Mexican woman she's like an abuela. She's so beautiful. Her name's Lucy. She's so beautiful. But she was asking for directions, and she was holding this really heavy bag filled with food because she had just come into where we live to pick up some food, and then she was going to go back downtown to where she lived to take it home. And she was trying to find the train to go home, but she couldn't find it. So she was just asking Eric and I for directions, and Eric and I are new to the place too. So we're like, we'll look it up, but we can't figure out where it is. And I was like, we're right up the road, like in our car's there, like we can just drive you home if you want to walk with us. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, absolutely. I'll carry your bag. So I ended up carrying her bag for her. And she walked up with us. And I was like, you know, as we're walking, I was like, this is so beautiful, because she is an immigrant that has been working. And I was asking her all about her life. So beautiful. Like I said, working as a custodian for the past 40 years here. And I was like, just thinking about how much discrimination she's probably facing. Like, even in the neighborhood, she said there's a lot of younger kids in her neighborhood and like no one says hi. And it's just like a really hard time for immigrants right now.
It's like this hate being kind of like, you know, them not saying hi to her. It's like, oh, we don't like you. You're an immigrant. You're other.
Exactly. She's facing so much discrimination, and how healing for a white couple to offer her a ride. I didn't even like think of it in that sort of way, but it was healing for us to be able to offer that for her. And I'm sure like, okay, white people are still good. There's still good people here that don't think that I'm an alien and I shouldn't be here. You know, like speaking with her with so much kindness and driving her back downtown. And we had such a beautiful conversation. And I was like, oh my God, we are all so similar. Like, we look different. We're in different races, but we're all so similar.
We're the same. You said because Holly told me the story the other day, and of course you were, you know, doing her a favor by giving her a ride. Okay, you're gonna get that.
Yeah, and so obviously, like, I knew in that moment, like, we were already going to do this, but I was like, there's beauty. This is like a sign, a synchronicity that we're doing this with this woman. And we ended up talking about God in the car, because, you know, I'm very spiritual. I feel very connected to God. And I know Eric is on his journey of finding that connection back. And Eric and I had just been talking about like him starting to have conversations with God, just because he's very into the news, and what's going on in Palestine and Gaza right now is really hard for him and just all consuming. And it's really hard for him to see all these children and these innocent families dying, and what is going on in the US funding it. So I was starting to talk to him about, you know, like, maybe you should have a conversation with God, like bring God back in, stop trying to like watch the news and like spend some time in nature and have a conversation with God. So Eric and I had that conversation like 2 days prior. And then we were sitting driving this woman home, and she specifically said, Eric, do you have a relationship with God? Do you talk to God? And I knew in that moment she was a little messenger for Eric of like, you know, let's bring back in that faith, you know, like a stranger coming into the car, Eric and I just having that conversation, and then her saying like, Eric, specifically Eric, do you believe in God? And then it was just like a beautiful, and I was like, oh, you're a little messenger for Eric to start incorporating that. You know, he said, yeah, I believe in God. I'm still cultivating that relationship. But it was just a beautiful sign, synchronicity of like us supporting her also bringing in a message and supporting Eric and us. And it was just a beautiful exchange. And I'm like, oh, we need more of this. We need more. If everyone treat yourself as you would treat your neighbor, I would want someone to drive me home if I was carrying a heavy bag and I needed to get 30 minutes down the road. Like, so why wouldn't I do that for someone that I see on the side of the road?
Yeah, exactly. You know? And it's like, because what I was going to say, it's like, yes, you did her a favor. It's always an equal exchange. You know what I'm saying? It's always an equal exchange. You had something to offer her, which was beautiful. And she had something to offer you guys, which was beautiful, different, but equally as beautiful, right? It's always a mirror. These interactions are always equally balanced. And I just kind of, you know, it's just so beautiful. That interaction was so beautiful. And I kind of want to speak to something that I just experienced recently too. Holly had an interaction with an immigrant, and I did too recently. And it was so funny. So I was out here just like walking, just like around, you know, by the beach, headphones in. I had a very serious look on my face, and all of a sudden there's somebody like I catch with the corner of my eye, like walking behind me. So I kind of moved to the side thinking they wanted to pass me. But this gentleman walks up next to me, and I could see he's trying to get my attention. So I like take my headphones off, and I'm a little kind of like, okay, why is somebody coming to talk to me? Like, regardless of who you are, whenever somebody comes up to talk to me, like as a woman, especially if it's like a man, I'm always like, just like a little cautious, just being a woman, like regardless of race or whatever it may be. Even when women come to talk to me, I'm like on edge a little bit. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Not that I'm mean or anything like that. Just, you know, guarded slightly, being a woman living in the world that we live in.
Right.
So I was a little just kind of like, hi, like, you know, a little cautious but curious, and I forget exactly how the conversation started, but he introduced himself to me. And one of the first things he said is, he asked me if I'm from here. And then he said he's new here. He said he just moved here a month ago from Mexico. And right away, I just had this soft spot in my heart for him because I travel a lot and I know what it's like to like go to foreign countries and not be fully familiar with the language and to be, it's just like culture shock, right? You're just in like a different environment. So anyways, obviously that, we ended up having a beautiful conversation. We were walking for a while and we were just chatting. And his name is Daniel. And then he's like, and I was just about to walk home to make food for myself. And he goes, do you want to go get dinner? And I was like, again, a little, and I was like, do you know what? Like I said, yes. I said yes to the universe. Yes. I said yes. We went out for dinner and we had just fun, light, beautiful conversation. It was just such a beautiful interaction between two strangers, two people from different parts of the world that happened to meet here. And it's funny because the table we were sat at, when I got the receipt, it was table 555. And I was like, that is so interesting. And anyways, we actually had he's Mexican, he's from Mexico, but he's also half Portuguese and my family's Portuguese. So we had a lot of like weird, interesting synchronicities. And he's here for work, and he wants to learn how to speak English. I mean, his English is really good. Like, in my opinion, he speaks well, but he wants to learn how to like read and write better in English, and he wants to practice speaking more to become more fluent. And I actually really want to learn Spanish. This is something that I want to learn how to speak Spanish. I travel so much, and, I took French in school. I speak a little bit of French. It's not that good, but I didn't take Spanish in school because I wasn't allowed, because my mom was like, French is a second language of Canada. Like, it's going to be better for you to learn French, whatever. Anyway, so I wasn't allowed. So I really want to learn how to speak Spanish because I travel a lot, and Spanish is a huge language, like around the world, it's a huge language. And I just really want to, when I travel, because I feel that I'm meant to learn from the indigenous and in other parts of the world being on this medicine path. And I will see how the path evolves with time, but I know I'm meant to learn with the indigenous and really immerse myself in their culture. And I know in a lot of these places in South America, they speak Spanish. I'm like, I need that language. I need to, it's also a respect thing too.
You want to be respectful and try to speak the language of the places that you're going.
Yeah. And it's something that I've been putting out into the universe since Peru, which was a few weeks ago. And I kind of got this message for myself that like, you're going to be meeting people that are Spanish that you'll be able to talk with. And I'm like, I live in freaking Canada. There's people don't speak Spanish here. And literally within like 2 weeks of me moving after Peru, I literally met someone who wants to learn English. I used to be a high school English teacher. He specifically wants to learn to read and write. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I can help you. And I'm like, and you're going to teach me Spanish. I'm like, I just want to learn how to speak the language. I'm not so much worried about the reading and writing, yet. I feel like that comes later. Like first you got to learn how to speak the language. So it was just such a beautiful interaction. And as a hobby, he takes photos. So Holly and I are actually going to be meeting up with him today. He might take some photos for us. We're going to have dinner. So it was just such a beautiful interaction with somebody who happens to be, from Mexico, another part of the world. And it's just kind of like, that stuff shouldn't matter, like where you're from or anything. Like, we're humans.
But it's a little like synchronicity of like, let's invite in like opening ourselves up to other people, and like see the beauty in those kinds of connections, and we can learn from one another. Like, you're gonna learn Spanish, he's gonna learn English. Like, we can learn a lot from one another, and like diversity is so beautiful and we need it. And I think for both of us sharing those experiences, I feel like it's just an invitation for you all. Like, if you have someone that you see that's from a different place, like, go talk to them, like be kind, strike up a conversation. Like, they're facing so much discrimination right now. Like, a smile, a simple hello, a simple how are you can go so far. And there's so much beauty from these interactions. There's so much beauty, and like, it's just we've gotta just invite that back in.
And he was so respectful. He was so respectful. So was this woman. Because that's a whole other thing too. I feel like, immigrants and whatever, like a lot of them, again, it's like the wounded seeds that give a bad reputation for the rest of the community. Like Daniel, he was so like he was very respectful, and I want to make that very clear. Like he did not make me feel uncomfortable. Like I would have said no if I felt weird energy or anything like that. He was so so respectful of me. Like, and I want to make that very clear. Like he was so respectful.
Same with this woman too. She's like, are you sure? Like just constant, like so sweet. Yeah. We're interrupting this episode to share something close to our hearts, our virtual healing circles. We have been loving them so much and meeting so many of you incredible people through them. Brittany and I are passionate about bringing people together to support one another and heal in community. We felt alone on our paths for so long, and coming together in community has been instrumental to our growth, and we've both seen the importance in it. We aren't meant to do this alone. In unity and vulnerability, we find strength, courage, and support each other on our paths back to ourselves. Our monthly virtual seminars blend discussions, workshops, and practices to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Whether seeking guidance, healing, or a listening ear, our gatherings offer a safe, inclusive space for people to connect, heal, and grow. Join us on this journey of healing in community. Together we can heal, grow, and thrive. Register for the next circle using the link in the show notes. We hope to see you there. And something I want to add too, on that same vein, just like how bad seeds kind of taint the whole image for people, I feel like this happens also, we're talking a lot about minorities, about women. This also happens for men too, because with the Me Too movement, all of that, it's like a lot of, which I'm not, we need men allies for women to acknowledge the pain that has been perpetuated. And I think men that can't do that, we need that. But I do want to also acknowledge the fact that there have been a lot of allegations and actual cases of men, raping, molesting, abusing their power, all of that kind of stuff. But that's not all men, so I think it's important to acknowledge too, we don't need, men get enough, the patriarchy, all that kind of stuff. But I also want to bring them into the conversation too, because I think rotten eggs can spoil the whole, and I just want to acknowledge that they're a part of this conversation too.
I mean, what's even coming to mind,
there's good men out there.
Especially all races, white men, white men get a really bad reputation with these conversations, and there's reason for that.
There's reason,
and we want to acknowledge that. With that said, it's not all white men, and
there are good men.
Eric is a white man.
But it just felt important to have this conversation. If you don't agree with what we're saying, that's totally fine too. I know I get really passionate about this stuff, and I'm get revved up a little bit, just passionate. But I can see where things come. I just want to really open the door to these kinds of conversations, because these communities need allies, and I'm deeply devoted to being an ally and creating more balance in this space, shedding light in this really dark space, and just being an advocate and being a voice, and just knowing that diversity is beautiful. We're all here to be different. We're all here to love who we love, be who we are, expand widening our capacity to accept without needing to understand. And I just think there's beauty in it all, and we're not all meant to be the same. And I think the more we try to be the same, it's just so rigid and so dark. So it's we gotta embrace the beauty of diversity and inclusion, and
be open to having these uncomfortable conversations, because it's not black and white, and it's not black and white.
And I just think we need more kindness too. The black community is coming to mind too. They have so many loopholes. One of my clients was a black lawyer, and just the amount of loopholes and discrimination she faced, not only being a woman, but a black woman in the workforce.
And something I want to say too, and I think this is really important to acknowledge, is how it can be subconscious. It's perpetuating.
It's so deeply rooted.
It's so deeply rooted that sometimes we're not even aware of, people are not aware of what they're perpetuating. And that's an important conversation to have too. You can mean well. You can have good intentions. You might not think that you're acting in a way that's racist. You might say, I'm not racist, I don't care. However, because it's so deeply rooted, it often is, just given experience, given where you were raised, given your environment, it's so deeply rooted that often it still is perpetuated subconsciously, which is where the learning and the listening
and
is
like
so
that's
important.
and it's okay to admit that those judgments come up. They're natural, they're normal, they're in the like they're deeply ingrained beliefs. So there's no shame if you see something and you instantly feel fear, you have a negative thought and you're like, oh, why did I think that, and start shaming yourself. It's like it's natural, but you don't act on those. You question, you get curious, like, and not shaming yourself further, because I think that those it is so deeply ingrained. So like it's natural for things to come up,
and it's beautiful if you're aware of it. I just want to acknowledge that some people are just not, like, even if they mean well, there's the lack of awareness there, and the racism and stuff like that still is perpetuated subconsciously without even that awareness. And I just feel like that's an important piece to touch on and acknowledge as well in this conversation, because there's a lot of work that we have to do as a collective, which is why we can't spiritually bypass,
or religiously bypass,
or
it's both,
bypass in any way, which is why we have to be willing to have these uncomfortable conversations. It's not about love and light and this and that. It's facing this shadow head on
and being the light in the shadow, but we have to acknowledge it and know that it's there, because it's there, it's here, it's in our faces, it's going to continue to be up front in our faces, because we cannot ignore it, because things have to change. So like we've said, it's going to get really dark before it gets better, but we're going to make it fun. We're going to see it, we're going to acknowledge it, we're going to love it, hold space for it, and transmute it into light. But we have to acknowledge it to make change.
And if you're listening, I invite you to be part of this change. Because
speak up.
I invite you to be a part of this change, because what a time to be alive. There's a lot of darkness here, but it's changing. What a time to be part of that change. It is an honor to be here right now. It is an honor, as hard as it is, acknowledging it. What an honor to be here, to be a part of this change collectively. You can choose to bypass, you can choose to turn a blind eye, or you can choose to stand up, learn, and be part of this change. And I think that it's beautiful. We have to do it together, though.
And be a voice for the voiceless. You know how many gay, trans have committed suicide that are like, be the voice for the voiceless. And we've got to do that. So we're gonna end it here. The only thing that's coming to mind that we didn't touch on is the disabled community.
Oh my God.
Disabled.
Listen, like I have a whole episode about Lindsay. I had Lindsay on. She's freaking rocking it. Shout out to Lindsay. And do you know what? I'm so grateful that you brought that up, because as she said in our conversation, is the disabled people, unfortunately, are often not brought into conversation. They just popped in. We should have spoke on that more,
and we'll do this. Is just the first of many. We told you guys when we started the State of Our World episode, like, we're going to be opening the door to these conversations. So it's just, again, like, we wanted to focus on like the trans, the LGBTQ plus, and then also just like the racism, discrimination, all of that. But we definitely will dive into that.
And there is a whole episode specifically talking about those who have disabilities. It was my episode with Lindsay Manza. So check that out. She's freaking killing it. Like, shout out, because another thing, just really quickly, like, people who are disabled, again, there's the judgment and all of this, but they're such out of the box thinkers because they have to be. The asset they are to any community, if we were to listen and actually, do you know what I'm saying? Like, the asset, but there's so many things that they struggle with. So they need to be a part of this conversation. There's a whole episode dedicated to that specifically.
And just talking about too, how, like, being gay, being trans, you can tell sometimes, with being gay, being trans, it's like, that's a kind of an inward thing until you express it, or how you dress, whatever. But being disabled, it's something that you see right away. You see it. So like, they're facing so much like judgment. I find myself, if I see someone in a wheelchair or whatever, I look over, we're like, and they, not that I'm judging, but it's just something, like, our eyes instantly dart to something that may be different than what we're used to seeing. So like, it's an outward thing that they face, and there's so much
there's no hiding it.
And it's like judgment, or just like,
it's like fear. It's like people almost like don't know how to react. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like there's probably like an overwhelming sense of curiosity. Also kind of like, what is going on? Like, it's like, I feel like people almost don't don't know how to interact, you know?
Yeah. And then that makes the encounter almost uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and then it makes, they shouldn't face that, you know? Yeah. It's just, that would be a really tough experience too. So we'll bring that more in the conversation, but definitely Lindsay's episode.
And check out, like, if you're here, I feel called to say Lindsay has her own podcast. She's killing it. Check her out because she's such an advocate for those who have disabilities. She is such a beautiful advocate, and I'm like, she just had a whole TED talk. She's been on TV within Canada. Like, she's really killing it. She's becoming such a voice for those with disabilities. So shout out to her.
Yeah, we'll link her podcast in the show notes below if you're interested in diving more into her.
Yeah,
and we'll highlight that more. We're gonna, because I want to highlight all, like, so much diversity on this podcast in this new season, and just really, like, what is going on in our world, talking about being grounded, talking about what's happening here, because that's the only way things are going to change. Yes. Oh my gosh, well, that was heavy, but whatever, we need this stuff. Holly, and I'm passionate about talking about it. I'm always like, it needs to be said. Holly and I are always like, okay, let's make it light. This is gonna be a light, short episode. Never is. It's not what we're here to do, apparently. It will. We're adding it in there, but yes. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and let us know if you agree, disagree, whatever it is. If you're interested on being on the podcast, if you are trans or have had an experience as a minority, immigrant, faced racism, discrimination, whatever it is, like, definitely email us at the multiple truths podcast 3@gmail.com. We would love to have you on. And I would love to hear the perspective of somebody who has had lived experience, like a trans person or whatever it may be, I feel like it's super important to have these conversations. I would love to have a trans person on here. I don't know anyone, if I'm being honest. So if it's meant to be, it'll be. It'll happen when and how it's supposed to. But thank you all so much. Please give us a little rating. We would love, if you want to support us in any way, we would appreciate it if you would rate the podcast, or if you're watching on the YouTube, like the video, share the video. It really does help us out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye. As we wrap up today's episode, we want to extend our deepest gratitude for joining us on this journey. Your support does not go unnoticed. If you enjoyed this episode and find value in our conversations, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also allows us to reach more people who can benefit from our community of healing and support. Every review, every rating makes a difference. Thank you for being a part of the Multiple Truths podcast family. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. Keep speaking your truth and spreading your light. We love you, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.